Welcome to Analytics GPT, the video series, episode 3. It's a collaboration between Agoracom and Datametrex AI. We've already had 2 episodes, so if you're watching this, make sure you use the links at the bottom of these videos to go back to the first 2. And today is the biggest one because Datametrex has officially launched Analytics GPT, and they're saying it's a new era of AI-powered data insight that is now beginning. Now, why are we doing this? As artificial intelligence takes the world by storm and investors are researching public companies in the hopes of finding the next great AI company, it'll become critical to separate the pretenders from those that are actually delivering real AI solutions right now. Datametrex AI is just that company because they're delivering cutting-edge AI solutions to both governments and enterprise companies around the world, including the Canadian government, Canadian Armed Forces, U.S. Defense, NATO, Samsung, Ford, even companies in Silicon Valley. So this multi-video series is featuring insightful discussion with, you can see him on the screen, Datametrex CEO Marshall Gunter, who is a renowned AI expert, and we explore the fascinating world of AI while also showing you the company's groundbreaking analytics GPT offering. And by the way, it was developed in collaboration with the U.S. and Canadian military for defense initiatives. So it delivers performance that current GPT users can only dream of. If you're thinking ChatGPT, you can only dream of this. And that's because they've got an interface that allows users to interact with AI effortlessly and without specialized expertise. Here to talk about it, Marshall, welcome back, buddy. We've had great first 2 episodes. Welcome back to episode 3.
Thanks, George. Super excited to be here as usual. And today, we're going to talk about the summary engine and how that can help you get to the data you want. So last time, we were talking about the query analyzer. And if just as a quick summary into that, the query analyzer and the AI behind that allows you to search the web, find the data you're looking for, or use your own data and bring it in, and then make sure that we're getting the correct data into the system. So once we've crossed that bridge, the next step in analytics here is making sure we're looking at the correct portions of that data we want to analyze. And that, again, is a very daunting step. But we're going to show you today how to use our tools to do just that. And then following that up, next time, we're going to show you how to put all this together and stick it in your inbox.
And I've kind of seen some of this. I'm excited, right? Some of the benefits here that you've talked about is that it can summarize, AnalyticsGPT can summarize thousands of documents in minutes,
Yep.
Which differentiates it. How's it differentiated from other GPT models?
Well, the 3 things that we've done with this particular GPT model are portability, accuracy, and customizability. Okay, so the main GPT model out there in the English-speaking world, ChatGPT, is again built as a generative AI text generator. So it generates prose. You can talk to it. It's like having a conversation partner out there. That's not exactly what we're doing. Okay, so what we've done is taken GPT tech and we have fused it with our AI analytics. And what that's done is allowed the layperson to really interpret the analytics. And we're going to see that in just a minute. So you're going to go from some very sophisticated analytics that look very confusing to most people. There's 3D graphs, there's drill downs, there's pieces like this, but these are the tools that allow you to really understand what you're looking at and gain the actionable insights that you need in your business. Prior to, GPT tech and artificial intelligence, this has only been leverageable by large corporations, governments, people that have the resources to put into it. But now, and as you'll see, within minutes, you can leverage AI and GPT technology to understand what the computer is telling you and what it's found. And then the next step from that is once you're sure you know exactly what you're looking at, you can punch the button and the computer's going to tell you, hey, this is what it's all about. Here's the insights we're gaining from it. And then, as I said, next time, you can set this up to do it automatically. So it'll happen over and over again, and you don't have anything to do. Now, with our model, like I said, portability. Okay, that's number 1. We can build this and we can put it anywhere. If you want to put it inside your own data center, fine, we can host it there. We can even host a small version of this on a big laptop if you want to do that. Take it into the field, portable units. Accuracy. One of the big problems right now in GPT tech is accuracy. And we're seeing that
Big
across the
problem.
board, right? So there's a lot of articles out there about, hey, it's only 50% accurate in this, or we see, GPT tech in languages that are not English, accuracy rates down in the single digits. That's not acceptable with the clientele that we built this stuff with. If this thing's not accurate, it's not going to work. Now, with the accuracy portion, an additional thing is customizability. Okay. So if you need to focus in on a particular domain, the GPT tech that we have can be customized easily to work in that domain. So it'll work on your own internal documentation. It'll work on your intranets. It'll work on the documents that aren't on the web, your internal email, if you want to analyze that using the technology. Or, for instance, if you're on a particular project, let's take the ISS, the International Space Station. According to those guys, the amount of paperwork that they generated and had to look through could go to the ISS and back 23 times if you stacked it on top of each other. Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah, and they have no way of indexing that and finding out what's going on. You can take our GPT models, use that, plug that information in. So again, we can customize and help you run your own business, your own corporation, or your own facilities. And those are the three differentiators that we have here and what we're doing with GPT tech.
And guys, everyone watching, or if you listen by podcast, that's a massive differentiator, because ChatGPT just doesn't allow you to get there for this. Look, I use ChatGPT, not me, but people use ChatGPT for things like, give me an ideal diet, a Mediterranean diet for someone who's 50 years old, or give me an ideal travel schedule if I want to travel through the Midwest of America and plot me out. Great. But you're not competing with ChatGPT. This is a real business tool, analytics. It analyzes at many levels what you're looking to discover, right? So it's not a competitor to ChatGPT. I wanted to make sure people understood that.
Yeah, that is correct. We're the models we build, while we do leverage GPT technology and we do include it, the primary focus is not to be a prose generator. The primary focus is the interpretation of the analytics. And for that, this is working very well. So as I said before, that interpretation of the analytics was previously limited to those in the know and those, basically PhD in mathematics. And we're going to see that in just a second. We'll show it to you. So you can take those analytics and that automated AI that the analytics is built on, and then use a GPT interface to talk to it, to interact with it, and to find out what it's thinking. And then at the end of the day, you can automate the whole thing and have it sent to your inbox. You don't have to go back to it if you don't want to.
All right. Well, you've got screen share. We've been talking about it just conceptually, so people kind of like, that was like the little drum roll. Let's start to take a look at what you got, Marshall, because this is fantastic.
Sure. So we're going to continue where we left off last time. Before I do the screen share, the topic here we're working on is Canadian housing crisis. So this has been in the news a lot in Canada lately. We have a lack of housing here, and there are a lot of thoughts, emotions, and stuff that are running around this. So what we're going to do is we've taken a look previously on getting the right information into the system using the query analyzer in the previous video. Now we're going to just take it apart just a little bit and show you a few of the things you can do with just a few clicks of the button. So let me show you what's going on here. So I'm going to share my screen. Please tell me that's okay. Okay.
We got it.
Now should be in the interface. This is just a timeline. So this is a timeline of posts that's coming along. And we have all the normal tools that you would associate here with content and terms, but here we're going to look at a few more of these. This is a lexical map. This is where we do a lot of discovery functions. Looking for those needles in the haystack, these are the places where you start. It's also the most complicated thing to look at. So let's come back to that in a minute. We have alerts. We also have people that are interacting with your different queries online, top publishers, graphs, etc. So all the tools you're going to need to do your analysis of this, both online and offline. So this is actually the social graph around the subject. So when you're looking at people talking to each other, we can view it in here inside the social graph. Who's talking to whom with what effect? And again, we'll come down to these. We talked about emotions last time. There's some motion indicators and insights. So let's scroll back up. This is a really good one.
I really love the fact that you gave us a little sneak preview of what's to come. That
Yeah.
was awesome. So go ahead, buddy. I'm so pumped about this.
So stay tuned. We're going to have more in-depth videos out about every one of these different tools. And, if you go to datametrics.com, sign up for AnalyticsGPT, we also have all the materials there. If you would like to, see what they all do, take a sign up. But right now, let's look at one of the more complicated tools. Now we make it a little bit easier to use. So last time, we saw that sometimes it takes weeks to get to the right data. Well, we did that in a few minutes, and we've been recording the right data ever since. So this is the same project. We use a query analyzer to get into, the exact queries we want, drawing the right data from the right sources, etc. Now we want to analyze it. Well, what this particular tool does, the lexical map, is it analyzes the conversations and then starts highlighting things that are going to be trending or that are blowing up really big that you need to be paying attention to now before you get bit. For this exercise, I'm just going to take a look at just a few things around what the Prime Minister is doing. So, we can take a look over here where the ministers are talking. And previously to this, we'd drill down into the information. Maybe we would look over on the left. Here's a few of the different posts that are coming out online. So if we wanted some examples, etc., we'd pull a few of these out. You could then dump these to a spreadsheet, build a pivot table, find out what you're looking for, what's trending, a few other pieces like that. Or you can do this directly in the tool. And then if you got it right, fine. If not, you got to come back here. Let's do it again, etc. You don't have to do that anymore. And the reason is, if we want to make sure that we're doing it, we're just going to add in this cluster down here to make sure that we're getting a Justin Trudeau in the Prime Minister's office, etc. And then instead of having to do that, right now, just in this data set, if you see over here on the left, there's about 1,000 documents. I would have to go through here, read the titles, look at the things, say, hey, look, here's what's going on in these 1,000 documents. That'll take all day, right? And that's the reason these reports take so long. You don't have to do that anymore. Once we've established what we want to look at here, we can click Get Summary, and it's going to produce a summary for you in about 2 to 3 minutes. Done. You know what you're looking at. No need to go any further. If you want to break it down after that, you can continue to drill down recurringly or recursively if you want to, and get further and further into the weeds and more into the details. But once the summary comes back, the major message here is there's no silver bullet, right? So we now have,
despite the fact that politicians are saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, AnalyticsGPT is telling us something different. Facts.
No, right now what we're seeing here, and the vast majority of the sentiment and the online and the stuff that we're looking at, is there's really no silver bullet for this affordability crisis in Canadian housing. And we're getting that right here on the left in that summary in a nice, concise, small thing. So we know, hey, we're on the right track, or no, we're not on the right track. And this is not exactly what I was looking for in this particular report. I'm going to go somewhere else. And I'm going to try, hey, let me go over here and look at this impact report. And I'm going to dig down into there. What happens on the impact, etc. But now I can cover that whole thing in a matter of minutes as opposed to a matter of hours.
John, and I love the fact that these displays prompt you to kind of tell you, hey, by the way, you might want to look at impact. You might want to look at, I see Ford beside Minister. There must be Doug Ford, for example. It's already laying it out, all the connections for you that you may, for sure would never have thought about, right, Marshall? There's no way a human can think about all these connections. This is power.
That's right. And it's surfacing those connections, and it's also highlighting the ones that are trending and having the most impact on the narrative at the moment, right? Or it's also highlighting what's going to be the most impactful in the next 2 to 7 days. That's what we're set for right here. Now, excuse me. Additionally, there are other aspects of these conversations besides virality and besides, what's coming up. And this conversation around Canadian housing is generating a lot of buzz. So let's take a look at some of the other graphs. You can drill down on any aspect that we have using this GPT technology. We can use it in here.
Unbelievable.
We can use this stuff in the actor graphs. So if you want to know
Like,
who's
what are you
talking to
clicking on
whom,
right?
what
What are you
effect,
clicking on right there, Marshall? When you click
this
on, what is that? What you just click on there?
this if we click on here, this is Justin Trudeau. And this is called the actor graph, and it's going to bring up posts that are related to Justin Trudeau on the inbound.
Right.
So what we're looking at right here is the social network, I guess is the best way to describe it. You know, you've heard about the social network. These are the different actors in the social network space that are talking to each other, color coded with who is either an influencer, a loudspeaker, or both, who they're talking to, etc. So not only do we know what they're talking about, we know what's trending. We know what's catching virality. We know who's doing the talking. We know who they're talking to. So we have a full 360-degree view
Yeah.
of the conversation.
And
Now,
if I can interrupt for a second, for a second, hold on that. What I love about this again is, okay, I know Justin Trudeau is talking about this. I know Pierre Poilievre is talking about it. I know the top actors because of what I see on TV. But here, you're showing me, I don't know how many are on here right now, but it's got to be, I don't know, 75, 80 actors, influencers that it has. Even more. Okay, you're talking about
yeah, right now we can
a
drill down
hundred.
into hundreds and thousands if we really want to on the graph. But again, we can filter this info. Whoops, sorry. We can filter this information in here to drill down to any of the actors you want to, or if you just want to focus in on a particular one, you know, we can do that too. And that's what we're doing here. So you see, when we select Justin Trudeau, either from here or from on the right, you know, it's going to narrow down the list of actors that's talking to him, talking with him, who he's addressing, etc. So you can get the whole picture around who's talking around Justin Trudeau. Now, additionally, and we'll go into this even further, if you just really wanted to drill down on what Justin Trudeau decided he was going to post online, you know, we can do that too. You know, so, but it's better to have the fuller picture at the beginning. Who's talking about them, who's talking with them, who's talking against it, etc. And you can go into any actor you feel like. If they're part of the conversation and they're doing it, we'll find them.
Well, I got to tell you, I see a big green dot for Justin Trudeau, a big green dot for Pierre Poilievre, which you expect, and then I see another one for Sean Fraser. I think,
Yep.
right now, the first thing I'm thinking is, who the heck is that person? So what I love
Sean
about it
Fraser,
is,
MP.
it surfaced someone that I didn't know existed. Who is that guy? What are they talking about?
Well, right now, Sean Fraser is listed as an MP. And if we wanted to get everything he's talking about, we can come out here. If we want to find the related actors. So again, one thing I wanted to point out here is these things are customized into each graph. So earlier when we were poking this, let me just differentiate the two. We're coming back here and we're talking, these are the contents of the conversation. So when we're looking at relationships on the right, on the left, these are highly correlated topics. Okay. But when we're in another graph, that same tool has a different function that's related to the graph. So when you're talking here, we're not talking about topics. We're actually talking about, you know, actors online. So these are the people that are acting.
Who's doing the
online.
talking?
Yeah. If you want to add them in before you start clicking summaries and see, you know, what's the summary of the conversations going on between Sean Fraser and Check CCRL, we can find that. And then we can click a summary and it'll deliver the same summary that we were talking about last time. And some of the more interesting things though, and another good place to start, again, let's come back to the emotion chart that we were talking about last week. So with the emotion chart, you know, as we described it, you can drill down into the emotions around this subject. And this is a very good jumping off point if you want to know the 1,000-kilometer view of what's going on in here. And if you want to get on to the details, we can do that also. But again, the things that we see around the Canadian housing crisis, the big ones, anger and disgust, obviously at the highest portion of the list. And again, what we can do, if you just want to know what's going on about the anger, right? Why are people angry? What is the prevailing thread of anger in this conversation? Okay, well, we've picked up about 7,600 posts about that have some sort of anger in them. I don't have time to go through all that. I just don't, because there's going to be 9,000 things people are angry about. It's the internet, right? everybody's going to be angry about something. I need to know what the prevailing sentiment is on that. And when we look, the prevailing sentiment is there's no action, you know. Now
That's
and again, we
unbelievable.
get
Hit that
another
summary
small,
button, man.
yeah, we get a very nice, concise summary of exactly what's going on around this subject, delved into the anger. So using these summarization tools that we've built into the engine to allow you to interpret the analytics, you can get to exactly what you want to do, find the pieces you need for your report that are relevant to you, and then you can decide your course of action after that. Now, what does it mean to decide your course of action? Well, we can give you some of that too. So we have set this up, and you are in here looking for insights. Well, we're looking for anger. We're looking what's going on with the Prime Minister's office, etc. Well, what do we have to say about that? Well, once we're sure that we've got everything we want, the system's going to start delivering real insights. And in this case, you know, here are the prevailing themes around that Canadian housing conversation and the anger and other emotions that are in it, the disgust, etc. And we start building these insights that come out, hey, obviously top level, Canada's in a housing crisis. We're going to need 3.5 million homes that remain before we can restore housing affordability. The other themes, you know, the young people are getting the hardest by this. 35,000 homes are needed to meet demand. All these are bubbling up in the conversations. And one that's come up more recently and is starting to trend, and this showed up about yesterday, is the temporary housing rentals are drawing a lot of ire. And this wasn't here last week when we talked, George. So people hadn't directed their ire at temporary housing. Now they have. And so what we've done, go ahead.
What I love about the insights, Marshall, again, as a guy who, you know, I've run my life on trying to get data, get the information is listen, somebody might be watching this at home up until you got to the insights and say, okay, this is an amazing tool. I see the anger level, I see the disgust level, I see all that. But what do I do with that now? And then you just scroll down and there's the insights. It's almost like, hey, here's a push off. Here's a kickstart for you, George, on what topics you might want to explore.
That's
That's
right.
genius, man. That's why you've always said, you promised, and now we're seeing it. The interface is allowing people who don't have that expertise to get out real, actual helpful information, and you guys deliver it. So that's fantastic, buddy.
Yeah, that's the goal. So the real thing that we started with when we started putting the GPT tech and marrying it to the analytics is to allow that layperson to be able to take this stuff apart and produce real actionable things that you can do, you know, or you can look at, delve into, and then do. Because prior to that, you know, you really had to understand how to take this apart statistically to get it to work properly. Now you don't. Okay. So what we're going to see next time is we're going to put this all together in one large package. And this is where the power really comes together. And I'll show you just a quick sneak preview in just a second. But what you have gone through the query analyzer from the last video that we talked about, made sure that you've sized it right. So you're probably looking at 30 minutes right there, maybe 45 if you want to play with it a few times. You can come down into here, collect your data, bang, start looking at it, you know, another hour, something like that. So 2 hours out the gate, you can set up a report, and that report can be delivered straight to your inbox or to your phone, everything else, once a day, once an hour, etc. And so those reports can be automated, etc. And those insights right here, as we're talking about, plus anything else that we have in this tool, including graphs, individual insights from graphs, summaries that you've seen in the thing, can be included in the report. If you don't want to do that, we also have a default report, which includes the most relevant material to you, and that will be sent to here. And as we're looking at here, you know, there's a few reports here.
You've got a full-time data analyst working 24/7 to send. So show us the inbox again first.
Boom. This is the inbox.
So there I am. I wake up and my data analyst has given me a list of reports, and I click on one, I see things like this.
That's right.
Can we scroll through that? Just look through that report a little bit.
We're going to scroll through. We're going to go through all the reports next time, and exactly how to put them together.
I know, but I want to see it now.
How to put all this out there. So what happens this time, focus on the summaries. We're going to look at the reports next time, how to set them up, how to get them to your inbox, and how to get them right there. Whoops, can you see this? This is my phone.
Yep.
So that's what we're gotten to next time. So come back in a few days or in a week when we get to when the next one comes open, and we're going to show you exactly how to do all of that. And if you want to look at it right now, take a gander at datametrics.com. You can sign up there for AnalyticsGPT, and you can get in on this and start using it today. And we
I've already
provide
signed up,
all
by
the
the way.
tooling
I've
you
already
need,
signed up.
all the support you need, and all the training you need to get this working for your business, in a day. That's all it takes.
Well, I'm looking at this right now. If I'm in the Canadian real estate sector, if I'm a home builder, for example, uh, this alone, and I know we'll talk about your price package another time because you've released your business package only, not the small individual medium business one yet. But if I'm a home builder and I'm paying $9.99 a month to get that information, that's the best value I'm ever going to get because that tells me exactly what kind of action I should be taking and what kind of marketing I should do and branding and what kind of touch points I should be touching on. It's worth its weight in gold. And I get all that what, Marshall, under an hour?
It's generally for most people, it's about 2 hours to get your first setup. And then maybe you want to come back and adjust this once a week, once every 2 weeks, something like that. If you find that there's something in your report you want to include or something in your report you're not finding is most useful, you can just go back in and take it in, take it out. And that's just a few clicks of a button. And again, like I said, that's another subject, but we'll show you the entire report, both the default reports and the report builder where you can build your own on the next episode. One other thing I'd like to point out as a closing statement that you just talked about for $9.99 a month. One of the big things that we talked about with customizability, you can target your data searches. Okay. You can, for instance, with, most GPT products on the market right now, you can't tell it what data to go after, right? You're getting whatever data they've got. They're searching whatever they decide they want to search. They're looking at data they've collected from 2 years ago or from whenever it is. Not with us. If you're on with AnalyticsGPT, we are going and grabbing the most recent data, and anything you want to look at, you tell us what you want to look at. We'll go fetch the data for you, whether that's in English, French, Korean, Russian, etc. If you want data sources that are not common, we have data sources all over the world. We can search the dark web. We can search your internal repositories. If you want to look through your company's email, if you want to look through your company's SMS, we've done those before also. Or if you want to look at, say, Russian Facebook, we can go over there and snatch that. And so that's one of the big.
That's unbelievable. Marshall, I got to tell you, I'm not just saying because we're friends, and anybody watching this right now is thinking, how can I use this right now? I mean, my mind, when you showed me a little bit preview before we got on, but now did this deep dive, my mind's already thinking, how do I look for a small cap stock sentiment only in Canada, and show me Twitter and Facebook and a couple of other places, and I can do that. I mean, how valuable is that to me, let alone specific use cases from people who are watching and other people are going to sign up for it. That's unbelievable.
Well, that's what we're aiming for. We're trying to democratize this and put the power of advanced analytics in everybody's hands. And once that happens, this becomes ubiquitous. And in fact, you'll be able to do the same type of research and the same type of drill downs that they've been doing at Google for 25 years.
When movies do trilogies or, even bigger, Fast 9 now or whatever, usually as they go on, they start to tail off a little bit. Our Analytics GPT video series, this is episode 3, we're still climbing because
right.
I mean, the first one was great. People loved it. Second one, I think, was even better because people were like, where's the second one? They're really on us. And now this third one, seeing it live in action, I can't wait for the sequel. I can't wait for number 4, buddy.
Well, we'll be right back here to Agoracom to do number 4. And on number 4, we're going to take you from stem to stern and show you exactly how you get those insights delivered to your inbox, like I was showing to you earlier. So we'll show you, straight from the get-go. We're going to go through the whole thing. Here's your query analyzer. Here's how it puts it in. So this is where you put in, your queries you're looking for. This is where you select your data sources. We're going to hit that. We're going to show you how to drill down through the summaries, build the report, hit the button, and then just sit there as Analytics GPT works in the background, finds these actionable insights, and delivers them to your inbox.
Can't wait. Marshall, thanks so much for this. I think I speak on behalf of all shareholders when I say thank you for taking the time to show this to everybody, because you're a busy guy. You're in the AI world. We've already talked about your pedigree and what Datametrex is doing right now and the kind of clients you're serving. I know how busy I am during the day. I think I'd multiply that by 3 or 4 for you. So the fact that you take the time out to walk everybody through this, deeply appreciate it. I can't wait to see the response. Guys, make sure, give us some comments, give us some likes, make sure you give us some feedback on how you feel about this. And for everyone that's new, you've been watching or you've listened to my podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform, to Marshall Gunter. He's the CEO of Datametrex AI. Trades in Canada, by the way, under the stock symbol DM. For our friends in the US under DTMXF. And for our friends in Europe on Frankfurt under D4G. Thanks for joining us. Glad you liked it. Join us for episode 4 pretty soon. See you then. Hey guys, the video's over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our YouTube channel so you never miss another great Agoracom small cap video.